Hey, this is George Kriza, Challenging Decisions. Today we're going to talk about interesting subject that comes up all the time in business, which is making a commitment to a big project and then managing that project. There's all sorts of impacts that relate to how you manage projects. And realistically, most business people are consistently guilty of overestimating the ease with which a huge objective can be achieved and underestimating the amount of resources that are required to achieve it. Your goal as a CEO is to minimize the risk of failure. And only in minimizing the risk of failure can you then maximize your success. So ask yourself this question: will you be swimming upstream? Sometimes an idea or a deal comes along that has loads of potential, but it's just too difficult. And we haven't got contingency plans. The fastest thinkers always have a contingency plan. If you were in the military, the generals try to always do scenario planning. And scenario A happens, we're going to do this. Scenario B happens, we're going to do this. Scenario C happens, we're going to do this. They try and think through as many different situations as they're going to have to face, and where will they end up when the unexpected occurs. So if you do that right, you're going to end up in a better place, even if you don't get your ultimate objective, by having the organization or the troops staged and their resources where you want them, in a better position than they were before for any follow-up fighting that's going to occur. It's the same thing true in a commercial organization, that you really want to have all of your options mapped out, prepared for the fact that your big picture project may not turn out the way you expected, but how can you take those lemons and make lemonade instead of completely failing? Very important. Another question to ask yourself: will this project sidetrack us from our main strategic goals? Sometimes businesses fail by trying to do too much too soon with too few resources. So if you're going to go after multiple markets and have a limited software team, for example, or a limited sales team, well, can you really do it? Can you get those deals on the table and make it come out okay? Probably not. It would be much better for you to focus on one or two markets where you can really make a dent and be successful, and expand yourself out later, and it could be much later. It's way more important to be a big fish in a little sea than a little tiny fish that nobody knows about trying to swim everywhere. Don't take your focus away from your key strategic objectives, and you'll end up with no leverage. So the bottom line: you have to manage products from start to finish. You can't just hand them off to the project manager and assume everything's going to happen well. It won't. We can predict that. Manage your projects with your eyes open. Pick the right projects. Deploy the right amount of resources. And if you can't do that, maybe you'd be better off waiting on the project.